Well, I'm delighted to be here, and I apologise for being late. It's the first, I've had a very packed weekend since Thursday night, and there's been community events. As I said, the first day there were musical events, there were all the stuff I love doing, and this is the first heritage event, and I think most of the people who work in the Heritage Council know that it's one of my passions in life, and I suppose grew up in South Kerry where John Sheehan has been digging for years, and where I grew up in a very different type of heritage environment with I suppose the Neolithic and Stone Age monuments surrounding me, and then I moved to the Norman city that is Kilkenny and a bit previously. It's been a great week for finds in Kilkenny because we had beheaded soldiers in James's Green, and now we find some of the oldest human remains, as Coilin has said. I think it was a Freudian slip given all that has gone on in this site that I ended up coming up by Troy's Gate into the yard of the Bishop's house rather than coming up here. So I think he's so sick of looking at me at this stage trying to get in that he reckons I just want to come for a cup of tea at some point. But you know, this is a very special place. One of the most special events I had been involved in since I was elected was the night that the Heritage Council hosted a Borough Council meeting. And of course, most of you will be aware that Kilkenny hasn't always had one council. For much of its history, it's had two councils, and there was the Council of Englishtown or Hightown, and there was the Council of Irishtown until the middle, I keep saying the middle of the last century, which dates me when I'm talking to people under the age of 20, but the middle of the 19th century, we had two councils, and Irishtown, we all know, represents a very special and unique part of the culture and heritage of Kilkenny. We had a very interesting meeting in relation to tourism and tourism development with Fall to Ireland on Thursday or on Friday afternoon, which was one of the first briefing meetings I had. And again, the discrepancy, and Liz is the expert on this, the discrepancy in the numbers of visitors who visit Kilkenny Castle and those who come to visit Canice's Cathedral is something that we're urgently trying to readdress. And I think everything that happens at this end of Irishtown, which, you know, and I know there are major plans to be discussed, issues around how we bring more visitors into this area. But one of the other issues which arose, and I think it's something of which we're all conscious, and Michael referred to it there, is how little we know about our own heritage. I know that where I come from in South Kerry, 70% of the people have never been on Skellig Hill, have never visited something that people travel from all over the world to. Likewise, the figures for Kilkenny Castle and St. Canice's are equally, you know, something that we need to address with our own local community. So this is about appreciating our own heritage. It's about appreciating the work that our archaeologists do, which is, I suppose, very often unseen work. It's work, as I said, which I grew up with, something which I've had a passionate interest all my life. I would still regret that I didn't get a chance to go to UCC and at least do that 1 year of archaeology that so many people are fortunate enough to do. And you know, there are huge treasures underneath us and around us in the city, and you know, I suppose one of the fears we all had at the end of the Celtic Tiger was that the richness that was being discovered almost by accident in terms of the work that was going on during that crazy period of our history did lead archaeology and the study of history to some great finds, and we hope that that continues. So I wish all of the team here in the Heritage Council the very best in continuing with the work that they're doing, but also the archaeological team will be working on this project and trying to gradually unearth the layers of our history, and I think that's the exciting thing that I've always seen with the digs. We are conscious of the financial constraints on everybody. One of the pieces of disappointing news I got when I became mayor was that maybe the progress we hope to make on the Tower project, which I know that Coilin and others are involved in, may not be as immediate as we would have liked in the next year or two. But we hope that we can push on. As a council, we have a very good record of providing money from our own resources. And in many areas of the country, people would say, well, why don't you spend it on that? And I'm one of the people who believes that we should spend money on heritage, we should spend money on the arts, we should spend money on education as an investment in our future by discovering our past. And as a teacher, finally, I think it's really important that we get our kids in here, whether they're in school or whether they come with their parents, that when archaeologists are working, they see archaeologists working. and I remember the excitement of the garden of Roth House, to see the well unfolding as it did in the garden, and I brought kids down as a class teacher into that environment, and to see the realities of archaeology at work and really exciting discoveries in their own community is something that I think is irreplaceable, because in situations like that they'll only get one chance to see it, maybe before it's either refurbished or restored. I know those words are always dangerous to use around here, or else covered over again, as happened with so much of the work that was done in the last 10 years. So currently also done on the event, so mar chuid dun stock on dun ober Irish tar siúl il gril or bubble on so just been gachrar and over agus tar siúl gun be me the gach vadni small character as mother show a machin show.
Mayor, thank you very much.
And they say the mayor has to learn to do it. For two former mayors told me very strongly on Thursday night over a pint of Kilkenny's other heritage that one of the things the mayor has to discover during his period, there are times when it's important to learn when to stop digging. So, I hope I won't discover that too quickly.